Hey guys, Superior David here, back with another Superior deck tech. After the nerfs, I was able to find some success on ladder using Treant Token Druid. I was able to climb from around 300 legend to rank 32, rocking a 69% win rate. This deck beats up on Rogue and some of the other slower decks in the metagame right now, and is also a bit more straightforward than past iterations of Token Druid. So if you've never played Token Druid before, now is a good time to check out the archetype. So now I'll get into the deck list, the mulligan, and the game plan, and then I'll queue into a game and just narrate all my plays so you can really get some insight on how to pilot the deck. If you just want to watch some gameplay, there will be a timestamp to that down in the description. So anyways, Token Druid wants to curve out and contest the board in the early game. So to do that, we're running Acorn Bearers, Tree Enforcements, Dendrologist, Shrubadier, and Landscaping. Then in the mid game, we want to overwhelm our opponent with cards like Garden Gnome and Force of Nature. These cards not only go wide fast, but they also allow us to cheat out our Treant Synergy payoff cards, Mulch Muncher, and Aeroponics. Token Druid has always struggled with playing from behind, and Mulch Muncher really shows up this weakness because it's a big ol' 8/8 with Rush that you can often get down for cheap or even free. Very good at regaining board control. Aeroponics is one of the most superior cards in the deck because it enables us to efficiently draw while not losing tempo on board. Incredibly powerful and probably the reason to play the Treant version of Token Druid right now. For our late game, we have the Forest Aid and Guru the Might Tree. If you're strapped for dust, don't worry about crafting Guru. The deck still functions without him, but he definitely helps in the slower matchups. You could probably replace him with Snip Snap and still do fine with this deck. Then we have the standard Token Druid Burst and Board Buff package that you'll see with most Token Druids to close out games and protect boards. So that's going to be Savage Roar, Blessing of Ancients, and Power of the Wild. And then we round out the list with Soul of the Forest and a couple of Nubiseth defenders. Soul of the Forest is really good in control matchups, making your board super annoying to clear, but they can be clunky in more aggressive matchups, so we're only running one here. Anubiseth defenders are really easy to cheat out with Force of Nature or the Forest Aid, but you could definitely swap these out for something else if you're not feeling them. So that's the list, and now I'm going to go through the mulligan, which is straightforward yet pretty important for this deck because we want to curve out. So you want to mulligan for a 1-drop, 2-drop, or Landscaping, and I'd say the ideal hand going first for most matchups is going to be Tree Enforcements or Acorn Bearers with a Shrubadier and Landscaping. It's a solid curve that allows you to go wide and usually take the board going into turn 4. In slower matchups where I know they can't answer the turn 1 Treant, I'll keep the Dendrologist for value, but most of the time I prefer Shrubadier for my 2-drop. I never keep Power of the Wild in the mulligan, but I will play it on turn 2 if I have to because it's just that important to get on board with this deck. Going second, I'll often keep the Garden Gnome so I could coin that out on turn 3. Very powerful tempo play, but don't keep a 5 or greater cost spell to ensure the proc because your hand will probably be too slow. The meta is very much in flux at the moment, so I'll give more general advice on how to pilot this deck. We generally do well against slower decks because we can run them out of board clears with the Forest Aid. Hyper-aggressive decks can give us trouble since they could overwhelm us while we try to build a board, but the new Treant cards really help us contest the early board a bit better. Basically, every game we want to curve out and go wide while efficiently fighting for board, getting an occasional face damage when we can, then at some point we stick a wide board that our opponent can't answer and then we just burst them down with our burst cards. It's a very linear game plan that's easier said than done because more often than not, you're going to draw awkwardly, and I'd say those are the real skill testing moments with this deck. You always want to prioritize going wide and protecting your board, even if it means playing off curve or not getting full value from cards sometimes, because a lot of our cards are just useless without a board. That means sometimes you play Dendrologist on turn 2 in an aggro matchup, even if you don't have a Treant to discover a spell, or use a Savage Roar to more efficiently trade instead of saving it for lethal. Stuff like that. A couple key interactions that you need to know when playing this deck are that a discounted Aeroponics will unfortunately not proc Garden Gnome and will not make your Nubiseth cost 0 when you cast it. It needs to be a 5 mana for both of those synergies. Another really important thing you need to know when playing this deck is that Flick's effect will destroy all of your Treants in play. Even though they have different artwork, the game considers them all to be the same card. Okay, now before we get into gameplay, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if this video helped you out because it really helps me out. And if you still have any questions, feel free to ask them down in the comments below. Or you can also ask me over on Twitch where I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Link will be down in the description. Without further ado, the superior gameplay. Okay, let's queue into a game. Shaman, oof. I feel like we probably don't do well against Shaman. Ugh. See, this is the hand you want to keep, but like, we cannot keep this. It's way too slow. We need 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop against Shaman. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, we got the Shrubadier, so we'll survive. We'll probably be Shrubadier, hope he doesn't kill the Treant, and then Aeroponics on 3. He's probably like Galakrond. I don't know if he's like a control variant. Control Shaman traditionally does well against Token Druid. But maybe with the Guru, we might have an advantage now. Come on, buddy. Don't kill this. That's okay. That's okay. And actually, I think we're going to tree reinforcements then aeroponics, because we could just get the... This costs 1. And then we just trade in. So now we're doing all right. I wanted to make this second Treant just so we still have something on board against Druid. Sorry, against Shaman. So now this is a matter of, do we hero power clear this off, or do we just landscaping? Really tough turn. I don't think we ever Blessing the Ancients on one dude here though for this situation.
Yes.
I think we actually cleared this off. This is a really like weak play, but I don't want him drawing. And we're gonna go super wide next turn with the Force of Nature Anubis set defenders. And I'm pretty sure he like unless he's had Haggleth's scheme in his hand since turn 1, I think we'll be okay. So he's Galakron. And we got the Forest Aid here. We have a lot of sustain. There's like a lot of long-term pressure. We'll separate these buddies out in case he has Zentimo. So then next turn we'll probably landscaping into Blessing of Ancients. Because I'm assuming he's gonna clear off some of this stuff. If he doesn't clear this stuff off, we double blessings, just push damage face. Turn 5, so he wants to play his Shield of Galakron here. We're probably forcing him off of that, which is good. Yeah, we could like double blessings, play the Guru the turn after, just really buff up these Treants.
How about a new eye?
That's all right, but like the nerf to this card really makes this trade bad for him, so that we're pretty cool with that. Honestly, I think we just do something like this. We play this. We'll kill these guys. I want to keep this health high. I'm cool with the Treants dying. I'm going to use the Twin Spell. I feel like he has AoE, and if he's going to use it, that's okay, because then we just get the Guru down next turn, and then we have the Force Aid to follow up. Very powerful. This is a very powerful hand against a slower, more controlling deck. Which I think that this is sort of the direction that Galakron Shaman's going, because it's like not nearly as aggressive as it used to be. This Taunt Totem is quite annoying for us. Wow. That's not bad at all. I don't think we could win with these two guys. With the Power of the Wild, the Blessing of Ancients, we can do 2, 4, 6 extra damage. This is 9 on the board. That's 15 now, and he has the Taunt. So we just play the Guru. And I'm going to trade here. I could trade off with this, but I'm like pretty certain that we are totally good going face. Because like, how does he deal with this board? He could like drop an Earthquake, trade in, drop Earthquake. Yeah, like see this Guru is still alive. And now we just drop the Forest Aid. We have, oh my goodness, this poor dude. We could even save, actually no, we saved the Forest Aid. Because we could do like Garden Gnome into Shrubadier, which might even be like a little bit better. Let me see, because if we do Garden Gnome plus Shrubadier, we could drop the Power of the Wild now. Now let's do the first Forest Aid. Just because we already have, like, because these guys are buffed. If they weren't buffed, I'd be like, yeah, Garden Gnome, Shrubadier, Power of the Wild. But this forces him just to have, like, another AoE. Dang, the scheme. He's scheming. And now we'll drop this stuff. Because it's still, like, a decent board. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We'll do this. And I'm going to actually play the Blessing. Oh, yeah. He just concedes. I was going to play the Blessing of the Ancients, so next turn we could do Forest Aid plus Power of the Wild, but it didn't matter. See, so this is a slower Shaman deck, and even though, like, I think, like, he has, like, a ton of board clears, or this deck potentially has a lot of board clears, but we still won because we just have so many ways to just keep making boards and applying pressure with these burst cards. So that's just the power of Token Druid. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck guide. I highly recommend checking out Token Druid. Very powerful deck, as you can see. And I'll see you next time.